A good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 26th December 2023. A Merry Christmas to you all out there. Coming up on the Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck. Topics tonight will be predictions, my predictions for 2024, and more proof that EVs, electric vehicles, will not save us. All that and more coming up in the podcast. Please stick around. Listener view discretion is advised. I smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and swear. See you in a bit. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Episode 251. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and welcome. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know mine was fantastic. It was a busy day. I was working, but we got double time for it, and I can't complain. Welcome all, welcome all, welcome all. Had a great Christmas. If you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe and share this content and podcast all over your social media platforms too. And to my subscribers there on the YouTube, please click that notification bell just to let me know or let yourself know that when new content comes your way, it's there. You can see it. I've been having some issues with the algorithm in regards to that. Actually, some people have sent me some comments saying, we can't find your stuff. And then I'll send them a link and all of a sudden they can find my stuff. Interesting, eh? Interesting indeed. So it gives you that insight to what's going on, right? Censorship galore. Oh, here we go. Anyhow, one more time, if you like and you see, please click like and subscribe and share this content over your social media platforms and help us Canucks get our words out there, as the title card said. 2, predictions for 2024 and EVs will not save us. I'll keep a video there from Lorne Gunter, a writer for the Toronto Sun and other media outlets there too. And he gives a great monologue and a video essay on how EV vehicles will not save us in the future. So here are my predictions for 2024, ladies and gentlemen. I do predict that in this country, here in Canada, there will be a federal election, probably in the spring, probably because there's a lot of polls out there that are going on, and a lot of people aren't happy with the Liberal brand. And I can explain to you why, again, after I've only done it every other episode. Excuse me. That you have a party that came in. Justin Trudeau is nothing but a nepo, a nepotist. He basically inherited everything from his old man, financially, socially, right, politically, right. He's supposed to be the next big thing that was supposed to happen back in 2015 when he got elected. And I think we all remember his big speeches about sunny ways and diversity and all this good stuff. And the budget will balance itself and all that great stuff. How's that budget treating us right now? Okay. Now, interesting enough, I should have saved these conversations. I should save all these conversations I have with people on X, right, formerly Twitter, and all these little socialists coming out of the woodwork saying how Justin Trudeau is our best friend. Oh, he's such a great man. Oh, look what he's doing, and he's just such a great leader. What has he led us into, ladies and gentlemen? Ask yourself these questions. What has the Liberal brand from 2014 until now led us into? Right? Can you say nothing? Can you say national debt through the wahoo? Can you say a lack of defense and security spending? Can you say a lack of respect for this country and what it stands for? Can you say a lack of respect for our First Nations? Lack of respect for veterans, seniors, pensions, and personal taxes? Can you say how the Liberal brand in this country since 2014 has embarrassed Canada on the world stage in regards to security and who we give money to? Can you say all the above? Sure can. You bet your sweet Pepe. That's an old tune. That's an old saying from the 1960s. Anyhow, but yeah, you can bet that. You can put that in the bank, right? And we have leadership in this country that doesn't really care about you and me, because every time you watch Krista Freeland talk on television, she always tilts her head kind of thing. Kind of like how, like a dog looks at a TV set. Ooh, what's up, Shaggy? So I think we can all agree that every time Krista Freeland speaking, Justin Trudeau was speaking, even when Catherine McKenna was in when she was speaking, Karina Gold, Stephen Guilbeault, John Wilkinson, Sean Fraser, and all other liberal backbenchers, right? All other liberal backbenchers that have sat around and poked and pried and lied to the Canadian taxpayer in regards to how this country is doing. Now, some of these socialists I have spoken to have said basically verbatim, word for word, the same talking points the liberals have told, putting more money in your pocket because of this carbon tax. How is a tax prosperous for the Canadian taxpayer? That's a contradiction in terms. Taxes are prosperous for the people receiving them. Okay. As far as I understand, the idea of taxes is supposed to help social programs, help this out, help that out. But our Income Tax Act in this country came into effect in 1917 to assist the government in spending more money on the First World War. Now, I don't know about you, but we're not fighting Germans in the trenches anymore, are we? Right? Are we still fighting Germans in France and in Africa and on the Mediterranean, like in World War II? In Sicily? In Italy? No. No, we're paying extra taxes, and the Income Tax Act stayed because it's a good revenue stream for the federal government. So they can sit and pass legislation and tell you exactly what you should pay based on your income. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you get extra perks or not. They'll find a ways to claw and take more from you and me in the name of progress and being civilized. And if you're not civilized with us, we're going to be civilized with you by knocking on your door and taking more of your cash by force. Okay. Now, you've heard me ramble on about how the CRA gave me a hard time because some of the awards and rewards I was given for my issues with the military and what happened to me while I was serving. Okay. I developed sleep apnea and I got PTSD. That happens. That happens to a lot of people too, right? And I did have a weight gain issue. Some of it's going down now. You can see, getting some more definition back in my body again because of my job. It's labor intensive, but needless to say, I'm getting back into a regular format again. And I've got workout plans and everything for the future. I'm not going to give you a resolution. I don't believe in these resolutions. I just believe that you turn a new leaf on your own time when you're bloody well ready. You don't need a New Year's party to do it. But that's just me, though. But I think you see where I'm going at, ladies and gentlemen, where I'm getting to, that you do not need big government to dictate to us. So come the spring, regardless of where you sit in the fence. Now, I do agree with Poilievre's certain attributes, meaning axing the attacks, maybe cutting some government offices. We can honestly do that. Some of these government offices do not need to be here. For example, the Ministry of Middle Class and Prosperity. How has this ministry helped the middle class and how has it helped with prosperity? I ask you this. How many more ministries of diversity, inclusion, and equity do we need calling the shots for Canada? When every college campus, every major corporation has their diversity officers making sure that the right people get hired. Right? To my American listeners, it's basically like the affirmative action issues that have happened. I'm all for giving people a fair chance, regardless. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you sleep with. All those factors have nothing to do with your ability to do a job. But if you have to identify yourself every time you apply for a job, then ask yourself this: are they worth working for if that's the case? If they're going to hire you based on your actual skill or based on the color of your skin, your eyes, who you sleep with, who you love, right? It just takes the whole meritocracy issue and tosses out the window. So my predictions for 2024 is that I think people are going to wake up and stop worrying about the woke and realize it's a joke and have a Coke and a smile and sit the hell back and have a good laugh. That's just me, though. That's just my prediction. Now, what do you think? Well, tell me after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday Rant. Topics of this episode: predictions for 2024, and EVs will not save us. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and one more time, I'll just remind you, if you like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, share this content all your social media platforms, and to my YouTubers, please click that notification bell. I've been noticing I'm losing subscribers lately, or I've had some subscribers, they've come, they've gone, and sometimes the count's all up, but just click that bell every time something comes up. So therefore, you're reminded when something new comes your way. And please give me a big thumbs up every time you see something. Give me a comment or two. Just let me know and keep the algorithm going to help us Canucks out there get our words out there before the liberal retard government censors the shit out of disappointing views or dissenting views they don't like. Okay. Now back to my predictions. I believe there's going to be a lot of humble pie coming. A lot of humble pie coming to the way of the liberal brand. Okay. Now, I've been criticized for being a conservative, and of course, the big F word, because, you don't agree with the status quo or the current thing, then you must be the opposite. You must be a terrible human being if you don't agree with us. No, I'm not a terrible human being. I don't agree with collectivism. I don't agree with socialism. I don't agree with communism. I sure as hell don't agree with fascism, even though the two sides of the same coin. The only thing with fascism is that you're given the opportunity to make more money while you're being part or being allied with a totalitarian government, right? So those individuals out there that say fascism is so different than communism, they're both based in socialism. So keep that in mind. And fascism is not technically far right. It is more left, if anything, right? More left. Who knew? Hitler did. Mussolini did. Right? And Karl Marx did. So that's the history lesson for today, kids. Anyway, carrying on with this episode of the Tuesday Rant. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Yeah, that's right. 26 December. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. I had a great time. My wife and I, we had a nice dinner and sat and exchanged gifts. And she got me some pretty cool gifts this year, so I can't complain. I'm a very happy lad. Yes, she was a very happy woman too. She went and showed me what she bought with some of the gift cards that I gave her, and some other things too. But needless to say, it was great. It was a good time. I'm working steady this week, but I got double time for working Christmas, which was nice, which will help with the bills next month. But hey, I'm not complaining. But yeah, it's just a good time to reflect. So my prediction for next year will be probably be a better Christmas for a majority of us. Why? Because we'll probably have a new prime minister, and we'll have more money to be able to spend on ourselves and to save for ourselves without greedy big government hands taking its chunk of change. Or like these wankers like to say all the time, we don't have to pay your fair share, right? Because come this spring, I am really contemplating whether I should file or not. I don't want to get into trouble, but in the same sense, I'm getting sick and tired of being told how much more money I have to give when it's being more and more obvious every day. They're asking for too much than I can give. They're asking for more than I can give. Because my wife and I now are just starting to see some headway in some things, right? But I'll save that for another episode. Like I say, if you like what you see, please subscribe to the Crusty Podcast on Podbean, Rumble, Spotify, Amazon, Supercast, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podchaser, and now Apple too. You can check me out there too. And a special thank you out there to my new subscribers that have found me on Podbean too. I'm getting some more people from Texas, the lovely state of Texas, Florida, and South Carolina. So give you guys a round of applause. You guys are awesome. Everyone who's downloaded my show, you guys are all awesome too. Once again, I have an individual from Australia who downloads my show, and a couple from the Philippines and Singapore. So another round of applause for all you wonderful people out there that have made my podcast part of your library. So thank you once again, too. Now, right back after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for returning to the Tuesday Rant with your host, Crusty Canuck. Topics, predictions for 2024, which I just did. And I'll be getting to the EVs that will not save us. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And later on the episode, I'll have a special announcement to advertise for you here too. So please stick around for that. Here's a video from Lauren Gunter, a writer for the Toronto Sun. He's part of the Post media conglomerate. I'm pretty sure they did receive some handouts from the government, but needless to say, Lauren Gunter is quite the reporter, and he tells it like it is. So I'll just skip this video, and he's basically going to explain to you how the EV battery and vehicle will not help Canadians. Now, you've heard me ramble on before about how this is supposed to work and save the environment and be easier on our pocketbooks, and we'll save more money, which is a load of garbage. A load of garbage, right? Because if they're going to force something down our throats and tell us what we have to do, right, to save the planet, then we're not doing it right. So make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, here's Lauren Gunter with his spiel on the EV razzle dazzle. What a great story. Anyway, you guys decide. Think amongst yourselves and formulate your own decisions, ladies and gentlemen.
Federal Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault announced this week that by 2026, just 2 years from now, 20% of all vehicle sales in Canada had to be electric vehicles. He said, this is a great way to help Canadians with the cost of living. Not sure how that's true because electric vehicles cost as much as 40% more than comparable internal combustion engine vehicles. But he said, as soon as you drive off the lot, your fueling costs go way down and your maintenance costs almost disappear. Well, even internal documents from the Environment Department put the lie to those claims. It doesn't cost less to maintain an electric vehicle. In fact, Consumer Reports magazine this week reported that electric vehicles are 73% less reliable than internal combustion engine vehicles. That is true. And the cost of repairs is sometimes many times more what it is for an internal combustion engine car or truck. So Guilbeault was wrong about that. And I think deliberately wrong about it. I think he knows what the true costs are of running electric vehicles. Buying them is more expensive, running them is more expensive. And what happens if the cost of electricity goes up, as one of his other initiatives, which is zero emissions power grids, drives up the cost of electricity? Then you're sitting there trying to charge your vehicle in your home with your electricity prices going through the roof. That's another thing that Guilbeault's announcement didn't mention, and that is the cost of home chargers. The federal government says it'll cost between $800 and $1,200 for a home charger. No, it won't. We looked into one for our home. We don't have an electric vehicle, but we thought, as soon as the government starts mandating this, maybe it'll be harder and harder to get chargers. We looked at it, would cost $16,000.
Okay, $16,000 to put a charging station in your home. $16,000. Okay, I've seen used trucks out here for sale for that price that have been provincially inspected and they're good to go on the highway. Okay, now what's it going to cost to run that or to keep that station alive and kicking in your home? I think Lauren will explain more for you.
Dollars to put in a charger in our home. Who can afford that? The government is subsidizing the cost of electric vehicles and paying small subsidies for home chargers. But by and large, they're not going to pay those costs. In fact, the federal government's own documents show that the cost to consumers over the next 25 years of maintaining electric vehicles and paying for home chargers. This is not the cost of the vehicles themselves, just the cost of maintaining them and paying for home chargers will add about $54 billion to consumers' costs. Ordinary Canadians will pay.
Now, do Canadians have that spending power? Do all 40 million Canadians now have that spending power? Honestly. When I look at the facts and figures that our environmental ministers and our Minister of Transportation and all these bigwigs that are making these decisions for us, do we have that kind of money? Honestly, it's tough enough already with their carbon taxes, and now we're expected to buy these $55,000 to $65,000 vehicles that weigh at least a couple of tons on the highway, more than the average car, more than the average pickup truck.
Pay about $54 billion more to drive over the next 25 years because of the electric vehicle mandate. They might save, and this is because the Environment Department itself is very enthusiastic about electric vehicles, and so they're very optimistic. They said you might save $38 billion. But as you can tell, that's a $16 billion burden added to Canadians. They're looking at about an extra $1 billion a year in driving costs. And what the department also found was that prices out of the market about 25% of Canadians. If you are a working poor Canadian, you will not have a vehicle in the future. There's a very good chance that as soon as internal combustion engine vehicles are outlawed in Canada, you will not have a vehicle. That's fine, I guess. If you live in a big city, it's very inconvenient, but I guess that's fine if you live in a big city because maybe you can take transit. But what if you're a working poor person who lives in a rural part of Canada? You can't take transit. There is no transit. You are stuck without a vehicle. This is a very urban, upper middle class mandate from the Liberal government, and it's another example of just how out of touch they are. For Post Media, I'm Lauren Gunter.
Yeah, that was Lauren Gunter from Toronto Sun Post Media. So you see the conundrum we were in. You see the predicament that these elected officials and these know-it-alls want us to do. Okay. They keep saying we're going to save money. Well, when do you save money? Now, I have schematics I can here in my home, and I have schematics I can get from other electricians in regards to building your own battery block to run your home. Okay. Last schematic I saw, it took maybe roughly 12 RV batteries. Now, it can be expensive. Okay. But you can generate your own electricity, your own power in your home efficiently, safely, and effectively. And it'll end up paying for itself within a few months with maybe some electricity left over that you can share with a neighbor. Now, as far as I know, in this area, doing that kind of procedure to your own home is deemed illegal. Why? Because the municipalities don't get a piece of your pie and other companies don't get a piece of your pie. So when it comes to self-sufficiency and what to buy, you can see that we're being herded as cattle, like cattle, into a direction which is good for the government, but not good for you, the consumer, the taxpayer, the voter, the patriot, whoever you want to be. Right? So one of my predictions for 2024 would be that we will have a government that'll kibosh these ideas and basically let you buy what the hell you fucking want to.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck. Tonight's topics were predictions for 2024, and EVs will not save us. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe, and share this content all over your social media platforms too. Like I said, you can find me on Podbean application. Sorry, brain fart. You can find me on Podbean. You can also find me on Rumble. Right, I put my videos up there. Spotify, Amazon, Supercast, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podchaser, and now you can find my podcast on Apple. And one more time, I want to thank everybody who has downloaded my show on the Podbean application. You guys are awesome, especially my new subscribers from Texas, South Carolina, and Florida too. And don't be shy. Say hello. Send me a comment or two too, if you can. Oh, sorry, I just had dinner, so I'm a little bit gassy. The front gas for now. Anyhow, I digress. So another prediction I have too for 2024 is there going to be another war? Is World War III going to bite us in the ass? Are we going to see an onslaught? Because when you watch television, you look at all the protests in every major Canadian city, every American city, what's going on in London, what's going on in Sydney, with all Palestinian descendants and supporters thereof. And you're seeing a lot of harassment. I'm not seeing any real protests. I'm not seeing any genuine concern. I'm just seeing harassment. Oh, and a correction too for my last episode. Apparently, the Zara chain of clothing stores is not Israeli based or owned. Apparently, they come from Spain. Okay. So when you reference the video that I put on my last episode there, the last Tuesday rant on the 19th, I showed you that footage of the protester with the mask on harassing the police officer as everyone's waving the Palestinian flags in front of this Zara store. So my apologies. I sit corrected as I tell you, because I know I said last episode that an Israeli chain. They are not an Israeli chain, apparently. They are a Spanish chain from Spain. So it just adds more fuel to the fire that when these individuals are protesting the plight of Palestine and Gaza, and they're in malls harassing people as they were Christmas shopping, harassing everybody who wanted to sit in Santa's knee, and disenfranchising Christians, okay? It just goes to show where they really stand, right? And once again, out there to my viewers, and if you happen to be a new viewer and you happen to agree with what's happening and how it's all right for all these people to harass other people in the name of Gaza or Palestine, how about you get on a flight and you go over there and fight? Okay? To all the bleeding hearts out there that want to see all these wonderful things and, oh my God, and peace and union. Yeah, let's talk about peace and unity. But let's also talk about reality too. Every piece of footage I have seen where people are being harassed for waving the Canadian flag, or people that want to change names, or people that want to tear down statues, or people that want to hurt what the West is. Can you not stop and think for a minute what the West has done for you? Can you not? Can you not stop and think about the benefits a lot of individuals receive when they first come to Canada or the United States? Can you not think about that? Can you not think about the priorities when it comes to hiring, when it comes to getting a post-secondary education? Okay. But then you want to piss on a flag. You want to disenfranchise one flag and promote another. Can't say Merry Christmas because, oh, you're not Christian. Well, you don't have to be Christian to appreciate a Christmas holiday. You don't have to be anything. Just show courtesy and respect. Okay? No one here is trying to assimilate anybody. Nobody is. But when you live in a North American country, when you live in a country in the Western Hemisphere that has adopted liberal politics, and I mean liberal in the proper sense of the word, not in the brand that's being thrown down our faces today, okay, where you have the opportunity to excel, to thrive, to better yourself, not just as somebody from this culture or that culture, but somebody living in a country where you have the opportunity to do so, regardless of religion or creed or color or gender or identity, okay? Every time you wave those flags and you harass people in shopping malls, you're defeating the purpose. You're not standing up for what's right. You're just being a fucking bully. You're just being a bunch of goons. And you think you're standing up for something that's right when really you're not. You're stopping other people from carrying on their business, from doing their thing. Okay? Some of the footage I saw today from Toronto, where a young man was waving the Canadian flag. And he wasn't a Canadian. He was born in Egypt, apparently. But he was waving the Canadian flag. And a police officer told him to put it away. Because, he doesn't want to upset anybody. And yet, while the police officer stood there with his bicycle helmet on and his yellow rain jacket, he had a maple leaf on his name tag and a maple leaf on his shoulder flashes. So what's that tell you? Do as I say, not as I do. That's what it is. And that's what we're coming into, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get more and more of this do as I say, not as we do or as I do. Because I know what's best for you, because I carry the big stick, or I have a little piece of paper that says I'm qualified, right? Which is a fucking joke. Because I've personally worked with individuals and worked for individuals in my time in the military that had a lot of great qualifications, but they also didn't have the street smarts. They didn't have common sense. And it doesn't matter what kind of degree you have or what kind of diploma you have. If you cannot relate to people and treat people like people, your education and your fucking qualifications, as far as I'm concerned, null and void. It's that simple, right? Anyway, coming up to the part of the show where I have this special announcement, just cue this up here too. I will be a guest on a live stream tomorrow night with the wonderful couple, Northern Perspective, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Cypher and Fox are hosting a live stream on their channel tomorrow night on YouTube. And I will be part of their show. I will be a guest along with Clyde Do Something. He's got a great channel. Construction Cronies, another bunch of blue-collar guys with some great channels, some great content. Vesper, Marty up north, who does some great talks with Clyde, and Barnaby. And I guess, as far as I know, Tamara Leach, one of the founders of the Freedom Convoy, ladies and gentlemen. So please tune into that if you can. Please join me there. You can see my mug up there in the center right by Northern Perspective. I will be one of the panelists on their show, and we'll do a year-end review. So if you have any questions for Cypher and Fox or any of the other guests or myself on this live stream, please tune into YouTube. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time too. And that's North America, ladies and gentlemen, too. To my European listeners, I can't do the math right now. It's been a long day, but I'm sure you guys will figure it out too. So you guys are a little farther ahead than us. But needless to say, I will be a panelist on the year-end review with Cypher and Fox at Northern Perspective. So check them out on YouTube. And we'll have a great time. You know, I always have good talks with Cypher and Fox. They're good people, good blue collar folks, and they just common sense, you know, just common sense people who love their country, love their families, love the way of life here. And we all agree on basic liberty, freedom of speech, association, assembly, and expression, and keeping our money. So I'll leave it at that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful Tuesday rant with myself here for the 26th December 2023. Blech. You know, I hope you all had a good Christmas, had a great meal. Hope you're all eating leftovers today. I know I had some leftovers earlier. They were fantastic. My wife is an excellent cook, right? And this episode, we talked about predictions of 2024 and how EVs will not save us. And of course, my usual political ranting on how incompetent and how ridiculous the liberal band has become in this country. I will have another episode up on Saturday. One more time, please watch me and watch the other guests there too tomorrow night in Northern Perspective. And you'll see them right here, 7:30 Mountain and 9:30 Eastern for their show. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I wish good things for you all too. Take it easy this week. Don't fall for the scams and the big deals. If you have some money to spend, spend it. If not, don't be ridiculous with it. Save your pennies for the next year. You know, if there is a sale and you want something, well, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to buy, but buyers beware nonetheless. I will be around this Saturday too for another episode. I don't know what to call it, but it'll just be another episode. So stay tuned for updates on my community page here on YouTube and my Facebook page too, under the Crusty Canuck podcast. And like I say, if you enjoy what you like and hear, please click like, subscribe, share this content on your social media platforms. Do not be shy. And if you feel like donating, links will be in the description. You can donate at your leisure. You can find me on Rumble, Spotify, Amazon, Supercast, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podchaser, and Apple and Podbean. So don't forget to check me out there too. Once again, I hope you've all had a Merry Christmas. If you want to send me an email or send me a letter, send me something in the mail, all my contact information is in my description, ladies and gentlemen. So don't be shy. Once again, I hope nothing but good things for you all too. And let's look forward to some great things in the new year, ladies and gentlemen. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. I'll see you all Saturday. Talk to you then. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Oh, govern me harder, Daddy. Oh.